Hi, Jonathan York, Bay Financial Partners, looking at investment markets. A little bit of a respite for President Trump at present. He's off overseas on his first sort of overseas visit. That's taken a little bit of pressure off, but still, at home in the US with the investigations sort of building a little bit of momentum now, and sort of fresh allegations coming out all the time. I think he's certainly going to face a pretty tough week next week when he gets back. Despite the political pressure, the US economy is still pushing on at a pretty good rate. The data's pretty encouraging, earnings are good, and it's just a question now just sort of seeing how it pans through. As we approach June, most analysts and economists expect the Fed to increase rates again, and it'll just be interesting to see how the US market takes it. Present markets seem to have sort of shaken off the latest sort of geopolitical issues. Obviously, the horrific bombing in Manchester overnight. Markets are really sort of taking that in their stride and really haven't been too shaken up by it. Indeed, it's interesting to note that the IMF has actually increased their global GDP just slightly. But it's sort of certainly moving in the right direction. Interesting, oil as well has sort of crept back now above that sort of $50 on the WTI. It's really quite interesting. Sort of a couple of weeks ago, oil would sort of plummeted back through 50 and was sort of heading towards the low 40s. Pretty major turnaround. Saudi Arabia has come out and said, it will do all it can to get prices back. Again, with a little bit of geopolitical pressure out there, oil has crept back above that sort of $50 now, and sort of comfortably back in that sort of $50 to $55 range. The question is, can it stay there? Obviously, in the UK, most focus is on the latest terror attack. It's interesting to note that there is actually going to be a general election in the UK in the next sort of 2 to 3 weeks, and but that seems to be taking a little bit of a backseat. We haven't really heard too much about it. I think that's probably because Labour really don't present much of a challenge at present. They're really pretty much in disarray, and most people expect Prime Minister May to come away with a pretty clear majority. Here in New Zealand, all eyes really on the budget. Obviously, again, with an election coming up in September, most people expect the budget will be pretty sort of voter friendly, with plenty of sort of carrots out there, just to try and encourage people to vote for National. Looking at it, the sort of implied tax cuts that potentially could be coming through in the budget won't actually come into place until 2018. So a clear sort of carrot there to sort of vote for National. And then you'll get a tax break and cut in 2018. But again, New Zealand economy is pushing on a pretty good rate. Latest dairy auction was up, and that's led most of the major banks to increase their sort of dairy forecast payout. This is yet to be ratified by Fonterra, but most people expect to see an increase from the current $6. Maybe around the sort of $6.50, $6.75. They'll give a pretty major boost to the New Zealand economy. On the fixed income front, Infratel have a couple of bond issues in the marketplace, a 5-year and an 8-year, looking at 565 for the 5-year and 615 for the 8-year. If you're interested in those, call us at 0800 867 323 or go to the website www.bayfinancialpartners.co.nz. Also need to make sure KiwiSaver contributions are up to date, certainly you contributed enough to get that maximum tax credit. So if you're unsure on what those numbers are, call us on 0800 867 323 or go to the website www.bayfinancialpartners.co.nz for lots of interesting articles. We look forward to speaking to you soon.